It's Friday today. How are you all doing on Friday? Right. Oh, you're right. Okay, we're good to go. So guys, it has been a very wonderful week to get to know you, knowing that there was a previous teacher that used to take you for this English. And so it has been great to be welcomed by you and your interactions. So, as you know, that part of what I do every day before we start a new lesson, I like to get your teaching and learning reflections, mostly around what did you find to be very helpful about our lesson yesterday? Is there anything that we can do differently? And how can we improve our teaching and learning? So you may not give the responses now, but this is something that I want us to keep in mind as we go on, because that's how I'll be able to know that we are on the right track. And that's how we will be able to know as to what do we need to do differently to enhance your teaching and learning. So that's the reason why I want you to give me those things. So the biggest learning outcome that we've been working on over the past 2 days is around you being able to explore and understand visual text, to understand the trick of how to answer visual text, which we have done that. And in relation to advertisements and advertising the intended audience, we did say that it's the target market, and that at the end of the day, we wanted you, or I wanted you to, again, to be able to identify the target market using visual or text-based, that is the advertisements we've done and everything else that has been covered. And today we'll be looking at another form of a visual text. Okay, I see there are some responses here. Oh yeah, Mbali, I'm good. I'm good. So the last thing that we wanted to be a take-home message yesterday, it was looking at this image, trying to understand as to what is the meaning of what you are seeing here. And the dominant theme, or what came out to be most, it was the whole thing of saving water, because water is a very important resource. And also encouraging that we must use water effectively, and as much as we are motivated to make sure that we keep our hands clean for at least about 20 seconds. Let's keep that in mind, making sure that at the same time we do not waste water. So just to wrap up, for those that may not have been part of this lesson yesterday, we focus on the idea of analyzing advertisements using the AIDA formula. The AIDA formula, which is very, very important around attention of the person who's looking at the advert, around inciting interest, the desire and action, which is we've explained of what those elements mean. And again, as I've promised, by the end of this week, you will all get your slides and additional information that is useful for this lecture. Sorry, for this lesson. So again, I gave you a task and most of you responded, which is, I like that. And I'm sure in your life orientation lessons, you will expand more on career options and how important it is for you to start looking at careers in advertising, digital marketing, and other spaces. So before I move on, are there any questions relating to what we have done around reading of newspapers, visual text, reading different books and all of that, and coming to what we covered yesterday around advertising or advertisement, and looking at all of those things. Before I move on, are there any questions that we can look at before we can start today's lesson? I see some questions here. Okay. I see that Mel Tagalani says he's struggling to hear. Is it his audio or what's going on? Am I
Takalani,
audible?
it's supposed to be it's your own audio. Maybe just try and leave the lesson and join back in. When it asks you to allow audio, just always select yes, as it might sometimes mean that you can't hear or that you don't have sound when you try and speak. If you do ask a question, so maybe just try and exit and rejoin, and then I'll just admit you to the class once again. But that should do the trick. You can message me directly if you have any further issues, then we can try and sort that out.
And another thing that I'm picking up, Mel, is it's a note that keeps on coming. People requesting to be admitted.
Yeah, I'm admitting them on my side. Don't worry about that.
Okay, all right.
It's just
Okay,
to check that people don't join unnecessarily and unasked
okay,
people.
all right. So, okay, all right. Tagalani said it's better now, so I think it's covered. Right, thank you. So we are continuing with visual literacy. So one of the things that are important as we analyze text using visual images is the copy, that is the writing, which it looks at anything that has to do with writing on the advertisement. What sort of language is it using? How informative it is? Is it a persuasive text? And what are the keywords and what is a slogan? So to break this down, the graphics, which is the pictures, anything that has something to do with graphic picture. And remember our rule of what we're trying to do. For every word that is new, try to expand on your vocabulary by using your dictionary and trying to find out what these words mean and how are they used contextually. So another thing we look at is what is happening in the illustration of what you see in the graphic. How does the design affect the message? The logo, that is the picture or the graphic used as an identifying symbol, acts as a signature of a brand. As I've highlighted again over the last lessons, we've heard that the beautiful thing and something to keep in mind is that everything that you do in your advertisement, in your logos and all of that, it's about the branding of the company. It's about the branding of whatever that is being sold to you, or that whatever that is being um, sold to be an idea that this is working or this is good. So, and again, slogans, things like short, memorable phrases that immediately catch your attention. Then again, catchy phrases, as we made an example of Nando's ads, that they're always catchy. There's always something interesting about that. And noting other adverts as well that help us to think about how we can apply this concept into practice. And then also we have the clever wording. You would see with every advert and those ones that we have done and some of the exercises that we will do probably as a matter of take home or homework, you would see how these things work. And we know those kind of advertisements or adverts such as DSTV, SABC one, where they would use certain public figures or influential people to push an agenda of trying to sell a particular product or introducing a new thing that is probably something coming up or that is already existing. So they would use that under what we call celebrity endorsements. So one of the most important things I've highlighted is that you keep the desire of the, the target audience, the people that you want to buy your product. So how you do that is think about this, which is how the advert tries to persuade the target market. These are the points. So how is the advert trying to sell the target audience? structured to inspire that motivation. So there are persuasive techniques. Techniques are skills or ways that you can think about to make this possible. That is use of color, typography, type size, type style, and font. That is also one of the other way of how you motivate. Use of space, graphic devices, photography, that is framing, lighting, focus, angle, and effects. Even when you want to advertise or kind of place yourself in social media and Instagram, would make sure that there's use a certain space, a certain graphic kind of position, the focus and the angle and lighting, and all of those things are very important when we think about how to inspire or how to kind of trigger a level of excitement or desire for people to get that particular kind of product that you're selling. Sometimes using beautiful people, stars, or good TV personalities, radio personalities, figures of speech, a certain jargon, and all of these things, they are key in helping one to get interest into whatever product that one is selling. So again, I know most of you here are very interested and they like definitions and terminologies. There's this word satire, which is using humor, irony, or exaggeration to criticize a person or a group and make them appear funny or silly so that other people would see their faults. So you can see what this word is trying to do. And irony, using words that are opposite of what is really meant. Often ironies are, or in irony is something that is meant to create a level of laughter, a level of humor around it, and then puns, using a word or a phrase that has two meanings in an amusing way. So again, dictionary is important. So today we are going to look at advertisement in another form of a graphic or a visual thing. So look at this image as a visual text. Can you see it? Thumbs up. Okay, cool. People are saying it. So I want us to do an activity for 2 minutes, right? 2 or 3 minutes. The caption of what's supposed to be in this image reads as follows: wildlife is waiting for you. Travel in brackets, right? So now what I want you to do is I want you first to check, how does the advert make you feel? And would you buy the product being or sold to you? Would you buy the product being sold to you? If so, why? If not, why not? Right? Just think a little bit about that. All right. Any comments? You can raise your hand if you want to speak. Okay. So one of the responses here that I'm getting is it makes me feel like traveling. I don't think I would buy the product assuming it's a plane ticket because isn't it motivating enough? It said it makes me feel I want to see the wildlife, and yes, I will buy the product because to test it out and telling my friends about it makes me feel adventurous, and I would buy the product because you go to see wildlife and you go to live lodges at the nature reserve, and it's pretty cool. Right. I love these responses. So now from that, I want you to look at this caption again and apply these questions. So go back to the image and answer these questions. What is the purpose of the advertisement? Consider the caption, wildlife is waiting for you. So before you answer the questions below, I want you to look at this. One, the caption above. So you need to check and choose the correct symbol that has the right answer. Is it an oxymoron? Is it an irony? Is it a pun? Is it a satire? So just check if what is the best answer in relation to this. It makes me feel happy because you can see Wilson Life. I would buy the ticket definitely. The advertisement seems dull and boring to me. No, I would not buy it because it does not look appealing to me. Mhm. Right. Answers. Visual literacy. Right. All right. I want the answers. Your responses to that? Thumbs up if you have an answer. Okay, I see a hand right there. Oh, okay. The second question is, consider the caption, wildlife is waiting for you. So before answering the questions below, select the correct option by only writing down the question number and the corresponding letter, right? The caption above is an example of that. It's either, is it an oxymoron? Is it an irony? Is it a pun? Or is it a satire, right? So choose between those, which one is it? Tagalani? Tagalani?
Guys, if you can just make it a little bit easier, if you want to answer, just raise your hand. Because if you raise your hand and you drop it again, then I can't find it in the list. So just keep your hand up, I'll get to you. Takalani has been unmuted.
Over to you, Tagalani.
Takalani.
Okay. Okay, I'll keep on reading what I'm seeing at the moment. The purpose of the advertisement is to catch people's attention, which it did. So another person says the answer is C. but I want you to tell me, why do you say it's C? Remember, with every answer, there's a reason. Okay. The caption makes a person think of going. It makes you think of excitement of seeing wildlife, right? Okay. You are all correct that this has something to do with encouraging traveling. It has something to do with wildlife. So it's about traveling, it's about wildlife. So if your answer is around that, you are spot on. That's the purpose of the advertisement. I see other responses are coming in. So yes, to encourage traveling, because wildlife is waiting for you, but I couldn't help but notice the cheetah is wearing a bib. B, I think because the wildlife not wait for you thing. Right, answer is B. Great. We are all on the same understanding. Yes, it's correct. It's B, that is, it's irony. The caption is ironical or is ironical. The wildlife is waiting for you so that they can eat you. So the other responses that I read earlier are quite spot on. So an irony is explained as following, as I've said earlier, the expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite. So you all got it right. And then we move into another question. That is the other 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. But let's look at what's available in the classroom participation. It's correct. The answer is B, suggesting that the cheetah is waiting for you. It's dinner time. Wildlife can't wait for you. That's the justification for B. The caption is forcing us to see the wildlife. So now, in 2 minutes, answer this. So looking at the caption, going back to it now, wildlife is waiting for you. So what I want you to do now is the word waiting used positively or negatively in the advertisement? In your opinion, is the choice of the image effective in supporting the message of the advertisement? Discuss it fully, right? And identify the time of the caption in the advertisement. So answer those three. The word waiting, is it used positively or negatively? In the context of this advertisement, is it so just look at those questions and respond to that. So in the meantime, I'll read as to what is available on our classroom participation. One says, okay, Vicky, I see, is your hand up? Oh, you're actually saying it's cool. All right. Positive because they want you to travel and see the wildlife. Raise your hand or thumbs up if you want to say something. So positively, it means that the wildlife is waiting for us to see the beauty in nature. It's wonderful. Right? Other responses? Yes, it is effective. It shows it is waiting for us to see the wildlife. Because it shows you one animal, but if you travel, you will see more animals as a positive answer. So I remember, again, the golden rule around advertisement, it is to always to keep in mind that whatever that you're trying to advertise, a product that you want to sell. In terms of text image, it could mean different things for different people. So I agree with the responses you've given that it could be positive and it also could be a negative. And the good thing I like about your participation in answers is that you justify the reason of why you say it's positive and you justify the reasons of why saying that it's negative. And then another thing, again, in this on 1.4 is a bit of your opinion. And again, you must read your questions carefully in your exams, in your test, and in your assignments to actually read what is being asked from you. So when you are asked to give your opinion, when they say it's in your opinion, is the choice of the image effective in supporting the message of the advertisement, yes or no, and you discuss that fully. What the examiner or what the assessor is trying to do, it is to get your understanding of what you understand about the advertisement in the context of what you are being asked to do, right? I see these other comments. So it is effective because it makes the heading more interesting and curious, so the customer wants to go. The caption is used positively because it makes one wants to travel and see nature. The choice of image is good, but it depicts a tip of iceberg of the wildlife and nature. Again, what I'm seeing here, it seems it's in the afternoon when the image was taken. Great responses. So let's move forward. It seems most of us understand what we are asked to do. So all of these questions speak to your ability to understand visual text and to be able to pull something or make sense of what is in that text. And in this context, the text is the image. And how we are making sense of the image, it's in relation to this question as to all of these things, the attention, the interest, the desire, the motivation are part of that which you want someone to see when you do an advert or when you want to make someone buy a particular kind of a product using a particular ad. So keep those things in mind. So before we move on to the other part, are there any questions? I see there are comments. Raise your hand if you want to say something. Yeah, the other one agrees that the time of the caption is in summer. There's another specifier. It is in summer, in the afternoon. All right. I see there are two hands up.
I've got a question here.
Yes, bro.
So for the cheetah, right? I said it seems like it's sunsets, and I think the advertisement could have been improved by maybe adding more bold letters and making it more catchy and improving the color of the letters and everything. I think that would make it more appealing.
Oh, great. I like that observation. Great comment. Thanks for that. That's thumbs up to that. I see there was another hand.
Shouting.
Yeah. I'm waiting.
Good morning.
I can hear you. Melanie, I think we can pause that.
He wrote a message in the comment as well to say didn't get the answer for question 1.4.
He didn't get the answer.
Yeah, for question 1.4.
Okay, let me get back to that. So there are two ways of answering this. Number one, if you say yes, so the cheetah seems to be waiting, demonstrated by it lying and waiting. patiently, possibly indicating the joy that might be experienced by visiting and doing a game drive, right? So look at this. I'll explain this picture in this way, right? Look in terms of an acronym PEAL, PEEL. So P, point, that is the cheetah is waiting. That is what the P stands for. E, evidence, he is lying patiently on a rock. E, explain, the cheetah is waiting for tourists to arrive so that he can eat them, right? L, that is link, the image and the message fits together and the wildlife is waiting for tourists. So that's what better accounts for properly, yes. On the other side is that the cheetah has been dressed with a bib, which is one of the observations that others make, which is good out that they made, which implies and is symbolic for eating, thus the implication for waiting for tourists so they can eat them. So I'm going to repeat this again. The cheetah has been dressed with the bib, which implies and is symbolic for eating, thus the implication of waiting for the tourists so they can eat them. Or that is what better accounts for yes in your previous response. If you said no, it means that the message is not a true reflection of the wildlife. Wildlife would not wait for tourists so they can eat them. Wildlife will only attack when they feel threatened. People might feel too scared to travel to a place where there is wildlife. So I want to say this before you can decide, be careful when deciding to use captions, make sure that you understand their context. So there's a yes answer with a valid reason, and there's a no answer with a valid reason. For those ones who may have an interest in traveling, wildlife, and all of that, they may be aligned or inclined to support the idea of yes. And those ones who say this is not impossible can be aligned with the one that says no. Does that help? Someone is reminding me that it's close to time. Remember, this lesson is about 45 minutes. So let's move on. Here's another image to analyze. Look at how does the advertisement make you feel? Would you buy the product being sold to you? If so, why? If not, why not? And this is a Porsche, right? I see responses here. It makes me feel amazing. I'll buy it. I want to buy the car. I'm sure most of you want to pass grade 10, grade 11, and 12, go to varsity so that you can buy this car. So yeah, I want to buy the car. It's an eye-catching car. Okay, it looks cool. It makes me feel excited and I would love to buy it. Okay. So these are the exercises that I want you to think about and apply and use them for revision as to how you make connections with what you see as an image, text, and what meaning do you derive out of that, and what exactly do you want to convey. So now another form of visual text is through cartoons, right? So cartoons are powerful teaching tools and can do the following. Tell a complex story in a few images so that just a picture can tell a story. And this is something that we all need to develop so that we can use it as a matter of trying to explain certain images and certain things that we know. So cartoons, think back your time of your childhood. Even now, some people as adults, they watch cartoons. This is a way of telling a difficult story in a very simple way. Provide comment and provoke thought on events and issues in the news. Give an example of vocabulary related to current trends. Provide easily identifiable characters to form the basis for sketches. They show culture in action with the ways that men or women are behaving and are expected to behave. So all of these things are powerful tools to keep in mind about or when thinking about a cartoon. So things that are important when you think about the interpretation or an analysis of a cartoon. Number one, it's the action, right? We all know there's always action. So what is happening in the cartoon? How is the cartoon portrayed or how is the action portrayed? You look at the characters, what emotions are communicated through facial expressions or any other form of nonverbal expressions that you see in the image or the text. What actions and emotions are communicated through body language? What does the body language suggest about the relationship between characters? So these are some of the tools to keep in mind when you are analyzing an image or an image of a cartoon. So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. So again, language, the words that are used in there, how the punctuation has been used, because you would see in some of the images that I'm going to give you as an example of how this looks like. And the setting, where is the cartoon set, what is the particular social context, your stereotypes, symbols, and all of those things. So these are important tools that you use when you analyze a graphic text that is in the form of a cartoon. That is all of this what I have explained. See the question? Okay. Let's move on. So here's another activity. Okay, I see someone wants to ask a question. Over to you.
I just
Yes.
wanted to ask about cartoons. Like, how do you tell the facial expressions, and how do you tell like when someone's emphasizing something in a cartoon or the
Okay.
overall message in the cartoon? Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'll explain that. I saw another hand.
That's the only one that's up on my side.
All right. Oh yeah, I see. So my side as well. All right. Okay, I'm gonna put out the other image now. So this is it. This is the image of a cartoon. So there are about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's 5 figures in the same cartoon. So one says gasp. Can you see the exclamation mark there? Oh my gosh, right? And you can see it's caps used there. So that's the mom and that's the son right there. The son is asking what? Then the second aspect of it, that is the second figure, there's a conversation happening right there. Then the other part, we need to tell a dermatologist and all of that. But I want us to look at figure 1, the gasp, oh my gosh, and what, right? So here are the questions. So refer to frame number 1, that is the first frame that you see on the screen, the one on the side that says, oh my gosh, and that. And then you answer these questions. So what emotion is the mother experiencing or expressing there, right? 2, how does the cartoonist use the visual clues to show that the mother's feelings, right? How does that, what you see that is being displayed to us, tells us something about the mother's feelings, right? That's number 1 in relation to this cartoon. Okay, others saying, surprised, shocked, amazed, The mark is shooked, right? Yes, I see there's another hand. Um, Over to you.
So the mother is shocked, and the how the cartoonist conveys is that through facial expressions, because I see like the wise eyes are wide open and the mouth is just like down and it's wide open. So yeah, that's what I see.
Great. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's correct. That's a correct answer. There's another second participant. Okay.
Um, the mom at first is clearly shocked and scared for her child.
Mm-hmm.
And down to the last slide there, she
Mm-hmm.
seems annoyed and like, ugh, my son. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Um, Another comment here says her facial expressions of what happened to her son. Yeah. So I like your observations, guys. They are correct. And another thing that I want you to look at is why are the words gasp written in brackets? What is the connection between the word gasp and the word oh my gosh? Is it justifiable? That is it appropriate, right, for the mother to enter while the son is in the bathroom? Motivate your answer. What indication is that the boy is busy? So you may not give me the answers now. It's something that I want you to think about when you're at home as a matter of revising and as a way of learning on how to relate or transfer or make meaning or message out of a cartoon that you are analyzing or watching. Um, and again, we will, when I give the slides, I will also attach some of the answers in the information pack for your own readings and all of that. So what you need to keep in mind are the things that we've highlighted. That is the action. You can see the action that is happening between that image I showed you. You can see how it is portrayed. You can see the characters, the language that's being used there, the setting is there. So everything else that I've mentioned that is key in the analysis of what you do when you analyze a cartoon, the action, the characters, the language, the setting, and all of that. Because we are going to be kicked out of the system, I want to say it has been a wonderful week looking at visual text and reading and all of that. So one of the things that I'm going to probably ask that we do, will tell you how things go with the big people who are guiding us, is I want us to have an essay writing competition, right? Where we will give you a question to write something around coronavirus, the lockdown, and the impact of that, of what's it doing economically, psychologically, socially, and otherwise. So, and again, also, I would want us to think of an activity that again can inspire some form of thinking where we'll pose a question here on the group or in the class where we can have a debate about certain opinions. So what I'm trying to cultivate is the idea of the excitement of writing, the excitement of thinking, putting across your thoughts. I like Uli, I like Tagalani and other guys who like to bring their voices, share their opinions and thoughts and all of that. And I want to see that happening more and more and more. And next week, there's a new upcoming feature on Wednesdays that's going to be playing on Wednesday Motivation with me, talking all things that have to do with being a teenager, things to do with careers. And if you need motivation and inspiration, that's upcoming on the pipeline. Have a great weekend. Study well, keep well. Much love, guys, and see you until next week. Bye. Cheers.